I don't know what it was this week, but everything seemed to be set up. Like Shonen Jump and Shonen Magazine were like all the chapters were just setting stuff up for the most part. And then you had like My Hero and Jujutsu Kaisen be on break. So like it was a really quiet week, to be perfectly honest. With a lot of series, it was weird. But Foreign the Apocalypse had a really, I think a solid chapter. Nothing too crazy, but obviously it's the end of the chapter. That's the hype, the meat that we're gonna have to wait another week for. Regardless of which, I actually really like Nasians, or however his name is pronounced. I'm still not quite sure if it's like Nasians, Nisans, whatever. Actually like his design and his character so far. I think he's pretty cool. He might be my favorite in the series currently. I kind of wish he had a different hat, though. I don't know. Or maybe it was just designed different. Maybe give him like a feather. Make him look a little more like a pimp. But as it was, in the chapter, the only thing that I really noticed that was a little bit, a little bit curiosity, like ticking, was there's a part where they're like trying to figure out what to do, and Sin is like, all right, so be it. So I'm pretty sure at that point, Sin was going to go into action and try and deal with this himself. Someone told me I think Sin was a female fox. I don't really know. Either way, it makes me wonder, like, is how powerful is this character? What exactly about Sin is going to be the relevance and importance of the character? Because with Hawk, it was really weird with like what was important about Hawk, but I think Sin's will be a lot more. Well, I think a lot more like tied to the story, like it probably more consistently rather than just like a last second kind of reveal. It like relates to Hawk, but at the same time isn't really related to Hawk. I don't know, but the chapter starts out. Donnie pulls out, he's got his bow and arrow. He's gonna try and shoot the little fairy to figure out what to do with Ordo. He misses, but then he shoots another arrow, and it like ricochets, and then he's using his ability to just generally, it looks like he's using ability to try and control the arrows mid-movement, but I don't really think so, because he runs out of arrows, but at the same time, they still manage to get that, the little fairy, take him out, and they're like, oh, who did that? It doesn't seem like Donnie did it, unless Donnie did it with magic, but, unless there's, like, a completely separate character, but I don't know, because it looks a little bit more. It looks a little bit more like a bolt than an arrow, really, now that I look at it. Unless it's sideways in the chapter. Like, maybe, it could be just because, like, an arrowhead is flat. Maybe it was, like, angled that way, so you only see that edge. But it looks more like a bolt, so I would guess a crossbow, if anything. But if it wasn't Donnie somehow, because I was really hoping it was Donnie. Like, I didn't really think about too much about it until, like, this reread. I thought it was Donnie using his magic, but it definitely doesn't seem to be the case now. I'm wondering, like, how did he do that the first time, though? He shot, and then you see, like, the arrows all go in, like, different directions. Unless it's just he shot at multiple angles and the fairy moved. I don't know. When I looked at it, I thought he, like, shot his arrow to change its trajectory. Like, arrows flying, he shoots another one at it, it bounces and goes to a different angle. But I don't think that's the case, actually, after rereading it. I think somebody else just shot him after Donnie missed continuously. But once the fairy's down, Ordo, the weird big eyeball flesh monster thing, just stops and stands there. So there's still a lot of questions of exactly what this thing is. And the fairy also melts. So I'm guessing that it wasn't a real fairy. It had to do with this dude who shows up. What did he say his name was? Talisker, or Talisker. He actually looks pretty cool. I like his design. I think the cool double-sided axe with the four-leaf clovers on it is neat. I like his general armor design. The face on the chest is kind of like, for me, but at the same time, I like his cool cloak and his general mask, his helmet design. And on top of that, someone told J Cloud he's using cloud magic. He, like, just puts his axe up to the sky, makes a cloud, and then just makes hail. But there are these giant balls of hail that are like, let me find a panel where it shows. I'm just, like, skimming through it while rereading it and reviewing it, because I'm just trying to think of, like, I think the hail balls were, like, maybe, like, as big as basketballs or something, maybe a little smaller. They're definitely bigger than like, baseball size. They look pretty huge. But I mean, like, one of those hitting you, it's not just generally hitting you, I would expect. Like, it still could do some damage, but obviously, like, someone like Percival and, you know, anybody I would assume with magic and whatnot is going to be more durable than the regular person. But it's this panel specific. Like, this panel specifically, you can see that the hail is going extremely fast. And something about a projectile is important. You know, like, have to take in mind not just the size and the, you know, the weight of it, is the speed that it's going at. Like, you throw a bullet at somebody, it's not gonna, you know, be as effective if you shot it. The speed is obviously one of the very important factors of, you know, of a projectile. And these things are like rocketing in. It just, you know, you're just seeing speed lines of where they were, and that actually leaves like a pretty sizable crater just from hail hitting, which I thought was pretty cool. I really like this panel and just this attack. I'd love to see this more, like, at a wider range. It reminds me of, there's a guy from Needless, and his ability was called, I think it was Laser Rain, where he could manipulate the rain, and he could pressurize the rain to come down so, like, so fast and so condensed that, like, it actually can cut through steel. Like, obviously, like, water, specifically, you know, as long as you, the more pressure you put, you know, the more, like, the stronger thing it could cut through. You know, water is formless, so you know, you're not going to break water. You're just going to keep pressurizing it until it's stronger and stronger and stronger. And in this case, the hail, you're just having these large masses of ice just slam right in high speeds. And Percival, like, goes to attack a bunch of them. He's all bloodied and beat up. We know he can heal, but, like, at the same time, he has no real control over his magic, so it doesn't really matter. Like, he tries to use it at one point in this chapter, and it doesn't activate. So he really needs to find somebody to either train him on his magic, or we need to see, like, maybe as they're traveling, he's practicing to try and get a grasp on it. Because Nacian's just, you know, he just uses his ability. He uses an enchant, puts Henbane and Belladonna on his weapons. He's got those abilities. I don't see him, like, really putting up anything to this Talisker dude. I don't think they're going to be able to handle this guy at all unless he's, like, actually really lowly ranked. I don't think so. I mean, he's got, like, his own unique armor color. He's got amber armor. He's got a pretty cool design. This might be one of those ones where it's, like, Percival's powers. Like, maybe he has some form of just, like, main character moment, and then is able to do something to just make Talisker either retreat, maybe, or just get defeated. Like, maybe, like, Percival just does some crazy move that has to do with his whole, you know, Night of the Apocalypse hype, and takes this guy down in, like, one massive swing, or something. I'm guessing we're gonna see more about the specifics of his power in the next chapter, just because, like, this one is different than, say, like, when he used, you know, when he got magic against Pelagard. Like, he's in the air floating and having one of those. This is one of those moments where, like, if you were seeing this, you'd expect him, you know, he's gonna transcend, he's gonna activate a new form, or, I don't know, gain some new ability. It's just one of those hype moments that, in general, you know that shit's about to go down. But in the chapter, like, the thing with Ordo that I'm very curious about, because we saw him just pretty much, he's just standing there since, you know, since, like, the fairy guy just dropped, and then until this dude Talisker kind of comes back. He moves a little bit, and, like, he listens to him talk. So I'm guessing that it's like, if he doesn't have whoever's controlling him, he'll just be stationary, and he won't move, and he'll just stand there and not even bother attacking. Like, the very mind control based minion, I would assume. Other than that, though, it's like, the question on him is, what exactly is it? Because I don't think he's a demon. I don't think he's any older species of creature, like, modified. It has to be either chaos related or something completely new. I don't think it has anything to do with, like, anything previous in the series, just because, like, it doesn't really look like them. Like, some of the demons, you know, looked pretty wild, but they didn't look like very grotesque like this and just monstrous. Like, he looks like a weird Cthulhu nightmare creature. Like, he's a head with, like, multiple arms for limbs with a giant mouth on it, on top of its shape. Like, it's gross. It has all these eyeballs on its stomach, or boils. I don't know exactly, you know, 100%, but they're gross. It's a cool monster design, but at the same time, you wouldn't want to be anywhere near that. You wouldn't want to be anywhere near that. Like, if I was running the Seven Laces demons, or you know, relatively any of their monsters prior to this, I'd be like, you know, it's fine with me. So, like, the demons don't even look that bad. Like, even the weirder ones, like, I could just be like Fraudrin, he's a weird looking creature, but, like, he wouldn't he wouldn't be like, dude, that's what exactly are you? Like, what kind of nasty creature is this? Like, Fraudin actually looked pretty, I don't know, he looked kind of cool. I mean, his weird back spikes and general design would have you, like, it would look weird to see in real life, but definitely not as weird as this thing. Like, this is definitely like, yeah, we need to get out of here. Like, some Silent Hill creature from, like, 2050 has escaped and is coming after us. But other than that, like, I'm wondering if we're going to see anything in this fight that has to do with Percival's magic helm and cloak, because we didn't remember, we found out that they were rare magic items, so they have to have some form of abilities, even if it's just like maybe resistance or the helmet. Actually, I think it'd be really cool if part of his whole hero type thing had to do with his cloak and his helmet. Like, maybe they added on to it. Like, what if without them he can't use certain aspects of his abilities, but maybe like when he has the helmet on, he's able to make those little copies, and then with the cloak he's able to heal. I don't know, or at least like make it easier for him. Like, if there's some form of like enhancements, like say like using his magic or whatever the amount is, like using either of those would cost like, I don't know, 3 out of whatever the total is, but then wearing this cloak and helmet, it would make it like a 1 or something, where it's just like way easier to do, way much of an easier cost. I don't know, like, they have to have some form of general usage rather than just be like, hey, they're magic. But I don't know. In the next chapter, I really want to see what exactly I almost said Tonkachi. I called him Tonkachi a couple times in the last review, but just a couple general displays of Percival. I really want to see his, whatever this new power he's unlocking or about the display in the next chapter. It's going to be pretty interesting. I'm guessing it's going to be like whatever his, more explaining on the hero type, actually. Like, I was going to try and maybe guess a power, but it's like we don't really know what exactly his fighting style is going to be like yet. Like, we haven't even seen anything to really kind of concrete what he does. Like, we've just seen the hero type can do multiple things, but we don't know too much about it. And even with multiple things, we got to find out, like, what is Tonkachi... See, I call him Tonkachi. I didn't mean to do that. Percival's general fighting style. Like, is he going to be a brawler? Is he going to get a weapon? Is he going to, like, start casting? Maybe he'll just kind of be, like, well-rounded and he'll use all his abilities like that. I actually would really like if he uses little clones regularly and just kind of, like, sent them out en masse and then just, went after his opponent. I think that'd be kind of cool if he had those. Maybe weaponize them, maybe make it so they explode, or if they could drain magic from people. I don't know. Work on something with that, because I think that would be really cool, just as like a starter thing, to have these strange little clones that their whole purpose is just to dogpile your opponent. But anyway, other than that, though, comment below, thumbs up the video, friend the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everyone who's subscribed. Thank you all for listening. Bye.